Well, welcome back to another Coffee and a Chat, and we're going to continue in our Count It All Joy series. I started this series inspired by my own trials and tribulations, and the fact that so many people close to me who love the Lord and are followers of Jesus are also going through a lot of trials and tribulations. It is a very, very challenging time for many of us right now. And I've had people that have made some comments, and there are a lot of people that believe that, as Christians, that everything's supposed to be just really good for us, and we're not supposed to have any problems. If there's any kinds of problems, then it's a sign that we must be doing something wrong and God is disciplining us or punishing us or something. And so that's kind of going to bring me to today's Coffee and a Chat and what I want to talk about. You see, sometimes we do go through things because we're being disciplined. We're supposed to count it all joy when we go through various trials, because God uses those trials to build endurance in us and perseverance. And when it has made its work complete, it says that we are mature and lacking nothing. So God, He doesn't waste anything. So sometimes, yes, He allows us to go through things in order to grow us. But sometimes we go through things that may not have really a whole lot to do with us. I mean, we're still going to benefit out of it. There's still going to be that blessing for us, but it may not be about us. You ever have somebody go, hey, it's not all about you? You ever know that person that people are saying that to them all the time because they think everything's about us? Well, or about them, but the thing in our life is sometimes we go through things for someone else. So I want to read to you today out of John 9, and I'm going to start in verse 1. I'm just going to read a few verses to just kind of give the gist of what happened on this day with Jesus and his disciples. And so it says, as he passed by, meaning Jesus, he saw a blind man from birth. And his disciples asked him, saying, Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he should be born blind? But Jesus answered and said, it was neither that this man sinned, nor that his parents, but it was in order that the works of God might be displayed in him. We must work the works of him who sent me as long as it is day. Night is coming when no man can work. While I am in the world, I am the light of the world. When he had said this, he spat on the ground and made clay of the spittle and applied the clay to his eyes, to the blind man's eyes. Can't see right today. And said to him, go wash in the pool of Siloam, which is translated meaning sent. And so he, the blind man, went away and washed and came back seeing. Okay, so there's more to this story, and people report it, and he has to go before the religious leaders and the parents, and they're wanting to know who healed you, and probably a lot of you know this story, but it's this first part that I really want to look at. See, when they see this man who's blind from birth, it is the assumption that it's because either he sinned or his parents sinned, and so it's somehow some kind of discipline or punishment for sin. And Jesus says to him, it wasn't because anybody sinned. It wasn't because of him, and it wasn't because of his parents, but it was for right now, so that I can be glorified. See, that man was born blind, and we know that when he has to go give an account for himself, and his parents talk about him, that he's an adult, he's of age, let him speak for himself and all, that, this isn't a child, this is a grown man. We don't know how old he was, but he'd been this way his entire life. And so all this time, he was born blind and lived as a blind man, so that on this day when Jesus was passing by and would see him, that Jesus would call him out and he would heal him and get the Pharisees and the Sadducees and all those religious leaders really upset. But those who had hearts ready to receive would know that Jesus is God, and they would see that. So this is what the purpose was, is to reveal Jesus as the Son of God. And what I love about this story is sometimes we go through things. And, he couldn't work or anything. He was a beggar. His life was not easy. But on that day, he did receive his healing, because that's what it was all about. And so, he was able to see and have the miracle of sight. But he also was a witness and a testimony as to the greatness of who Jesus was, who Jesus is. Sometimes we go through things because God's doing something bigger, something beyond us. And on this channel, I've told a lot of stories, some of them mine, some of them other people's, but of many times when people have gone through something very hard and very difficult, and it wasn't even about them, but they had to go through it in order for God to use the situation for something greater. I tell about a friend of mine who had diabetes and was on dialysis, and how she was so angry because she just wanted God to heal her, and he didn't heal her and all. But then she learned that when she got to that point of being on dialysis, that she was able to be a witness and a testimony to all the other people on dialysis with her, that she was able to share with them the Lord Jesus Christ in a way that nobody else could, because she knew what they were going through, because she was going through it too. There were times when my mother would be sick and in the hospital, and they couldn't get, things straightened out and all. And then in the middle of the night, I remember this nurse that came in and ended up, the floor was quiet that night, and she was able to spend most of the night with my mom, talking first about her woes and troubles, and then my mom presenting Jesus Christ as the answer to her problems. And that's why, when we came in the next morning, my mother was getting better, and they released her, and she goes, "Oh, I just needed to be sick for a while to be here, for this nurse." And, and my mom didn't like being sick, but I was like, "Mom, what if this is your ministry? I mean, a weird ministry, nobody would be looking for it." But sometimes the very thing that we suffer from is our ministry. It puts us in places we wouldn't be otherwise. It gives us contact with people that we wouldn't have contact with otherwise. And it opens doors as we can praise the Lord in the midst of our storm. Somebody else going through the same storm can go, "Whoa, wait a minute," because they aren't praising him, or they don't even know him. So today I just want to, just in this short little thing here, share with you about opening your mind to understand and consider that maybe some of the things you're going through have nothing to do with something you've done wrong, or God not listening to you, or anything like that, but it may be for someone else. I talk often about the time my family, when I was married to my first husband and our kids were younger, and we were homeless for a year. And part of why we were homeless was it was necessary, too complicated to explain right now, but it was necessary for us to be homeless that year in order for God to restore to an older man and his wife something that had been stolen from them. And I'll tell you, when everything was said and done, and I realized that that's what, was a big part of why we went through what we went through. Trust me, I wasn't really all, "Oh, this is so fun. I love being homeless and having 3 kids and a dog and, and worrying about things." No, it was a very difficult time. The Lord protected us. He provided for us. He gave us shelter so that we were safe at night. He took care of our needs, but we lost almost everything. And so it wasn't a pleasant thing. But when I found out that probably 90% of what we went through was for this man and his wife, I'll tell you the truth, I rejoiced. It surprised me even, because I could see God had grown me so much during that year of homelessness that by the time we came to the end of it, I could see the joy that God was able to take care of a huge need for this man and his wife and bring them peace. So it's not always about us. Sometimes God asks us to go through something so that he can be glorified, so that he can touch someone else's life. We were only homeless for that year, and the Lord took the homelessness away, and I've never been homeless since. Don't know if I will be again or not, but I know that whatever I go through, he is with me, and he has a purpose, even if I don't know what it is and I don't understand it. So the very thing you may be going through right now may be for someone else. All right. I love you guys. And hey, Ashley, if you're watching, Dad told me you were watching, so I just wanted to say hi. So anyway, you guys, I pray that you have a blessed day today. And if you're going through some fire right now, that if you are a follower of Jesus Christ, that you will find your peace and your rest in him, because it may be for someone else. And if you are not a follower of Jesus Christ, oh, I highly recommend him. He is the ultimate. He is what your life depends on. And I wouldn't trade not any good day, any bad day, any dark day, any bright day, none of it. I wouldn't trade any of it for him. Knowing him, he's taken me through it all. He's taken me through it right now. He's going to get me through today, and he's going to get me through tomorrow. And I can have joy because I know who I serve. All right, you guys have an awesome day. I'll talk to you later.